Today's lab is metathesis reactions, and a metathesis reaction, metathesis means change. And so what we're going to be looking at is basically double replacement reactions, and really there's two types that we're looking at: precipitation and formation of a gas. For double replacement reactions, remember, we've gone over this now, is that you take two ionic compounds, you mix them together, so there's and they're soluble, and then when you mix them together, if the reaction takes place, you end up getting a precipitate or a gas, or you could get a change in pH, which we can measure. So what we have is we have a series of ionic compounds that we're going to mix together and see if the reaction take place, and you'll be writing the results in your lab report. We have 11 different solutions, and we're just going to walk through it just like it says in your lab report. If you've covered double replacement reactions, you'll know that if you can take a look at, for instance, if you take iron chloride and mix it with copper sulfate, that reaction may or may not happen. Now, one way to tell if it will happen without doing it is using the solubility table. We're going to do this experimentally and then compare it to what we expect as well. All right, so the first experiment to do is we're going to take number one, which is iron chloride, and I'm going to put 2 drops in A, okay, and then just sodium phosphate, and I add 2 drops to it, and then I write down what I see, and it looks like it's gotten cloudy, so I would write down is that it's got a cloudy precipitate. You should write down what you see in your lab book. We'll just go over here and look at it, and we have this written out, but you'll see how that works. You're not supposed to look at all this, but what you can do is write down here what you observed. Okay. All right, so the next experiment is you're going to take, again, the iron chloride and 2 drops, and then I'm going to add, what is that going to add? Sulfuric acid. And sulfuric acid is number 5. Okay. Write down, and I don't see any change. I mean, these iron chloride is a yellow color, and just seemed to make it lighter or dilute it, but I don't see any precipitate. So I don't see any evidence of this reaction taking place. All right, next experiment, we're going to continue with the iron chloride. And this one is going to be with silver nitrate. So 2 drops of the iron nitrate, and silver nitrate is number 3. So I pull it over here, and you can see it's kind of a, where is it? Okay, it's kind of a brownish solution, okay. And okay, now if you look at that, you can see that there's definitely a precipitate. It's cloudy. You see it's like white, all right? So write that down in your report that there is evidence of reaction and you got a white precipitate. That's iron chloride and silver nitrate. All right, so that's number 3. So actually that was number 4 in your lab book. So I'm going to go back number 3, and number 3 is, again, iron chloride. So this is number 3 on your lab report. So 2 drops of the iron chloride. And now I'm going to be using sodium hydroxide, which it says number 6. Okay. 1, 2. Okay. All right. There is a change. There's definitely a change in color. It got more orange. And it looks like there might be a precipitate, but there is a change in the, so there is a change, evidence of a change. Number 5 is the last one that we're going to do with the iron chloride. And I'm going to take iron chloride plus sodium carbonate. So again, 1, 2. And sodium carbonate is number 7 on my okay. You can write down, it looks like there's a change. Okay. Okay, so the first 5 reactions were with iron chloride. Next 5 reactions, starting from number 6, we're going to be using copper sulfate, and then we're going to be adding different solutions to it. So number 6, I'm going to add 2 drops of, I'm going to put 3 in there just so I can see it. 3 drops of, remember this is qualitative, not quantitative. 3 drops of copper sulfate. And number 6, it says use sodium hydroxide. So sodium hydroxide is number, is this guy right here? Okay. It looks like it turned a darker blue. So there is evidence of a reaction there. Okay. Experiment number 7 says copper sulfate. So I'm going to put it right below that one. Again, I'm going to put 3 of them in there so I can see a little better. And sodium phosphate. Okay. You can see that it's got cloudy. So that's experiment number 7, copper sulfate and sodium phosphate. All right, number 8 is copper sulfate. 1, 2, okay, 2 drops. And I want to add sodium carbonate. Okay. You can see it's got a little darker blue and it looks like it's got cloudier. So there's evidence that a reaction took place. Right down the color and that is precipitated. Number 9 experiment. Again, we're going to use copper sulfate. 2. And now I'm going to use hydrochloric acid. Okay. Go find it. And these, we have these already set up. Okay. And it doesn't look like anything changed on that one. It maybe got, I mean, there's no precipitate, no real color change, so there's no evidence of a change. Okay, number 10 is the last one for copper sulfate. And I'm going to add silver nitrate to that. Okay, I don't see much change there. Okay, so get a little closer there. Might be a little cloudiness, but I don't know. It's hard to tell. You write down what you think you see.